The average B2B sales rep achieves a sub 1% reply rate on cold email. Our campaigns are hitting 20% or higher. The difference is not better copy, it's a completely different system. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through every part of it. We're going to cover 4 things: how to build a list that actually converts, how to identify the right moment to reach out, how to write emails that get replies, and how to follow up without becoming noise. And the step most people completely fumble: how to turn a positive reply into a booked meeting. Let's go. Most people pick a random daily send volume, 50 emails, 100, whatever feels ambitious. That's the wrong starting point. Your daily send volume should be determined by the size of your market, not by what feels like a lot. Here's how it works. Start with your TAM. Every company that could buy what you sell. Narrow that down to your SAM, the ones that match your ICP, the right industry, company size, geography, tech stack, etc. Then enrich it, meaning you find verified contact details for the actual decision makers inside those companies. That last step is where most companies fall apart before they've sent a single email. Single data providers like Apollo's and Zoom Infos, whatever you're using, typically have a verification rate of about 18 to 23%. So for every 100 companies in your SAM, you're getting valid emails for maybe 20 of them. The rest of your market just doesn't exist to you. How crazy is that? The fix is Waterfall Enrichment, querying multiple data providers sequentially, where each catches what the previous missed. So here's an example from a real campaign. 76,000 companies in an ICP. A single provider gets you 21,000 contactable leads. A proper waterfall system can get you up to 52,000. Same market, more than double the opportunity without changing a word of your copy. And this matters more than most people realize, because 28% of B2B email addresses go invalid every year. People leave jobs, company restructure, your list is decaying faster than you think. Once you have enriched your SAM, divide that number by 90. That's your daily send volume. You're rotating through your entire qualified market every 3 months, which means by the time you loop back, they've most likely forgotten about you and you're coming in from a fresh new angle. One more thing on list quality that most people skip: lead scoring. Not every lead is worth the same investment. Score your leads 0 to 100 based on fit signals: industry, company size, persona match, tech stack, recent activity. Your top leads could get email, LinkedIn, phone call, maybe even a handwritten letter. Your lowest scoring leads may just get email only. Scoring means you're not spending the same budget chasing a borderline prospect as you are going after your ideal account. The principle: you don't have a sending problem, you have a list quality problem. Fix that first. Everything downstream gets easier. Most people build their targeting list and ask, who should I email? The better question is, when should I email them? An email sent within 48 hours of a relevant buying trigger gets a 3 to 5x higher response rate than a same email sent on a standard schedule. That gap between top quartile teams hitting 15 to 25% reply rates and everyone else stuck at 1 to 3%. It's almost entirely explained by timing and relevance, not just copy quality. So what are some of these triggers? New leadership. A VP or C-level hire in the last 90 days is one of the highest intent signals you can find. They're building their agenda. They're not locked into incumbent vendors. They're actively looking for solutions. Reach them in that window, and you're not interrupting, you're arriving at exactly the right moment. Hiring surges. A company rapidly expanding headcount in a specific function has 2 things: budget and pain. They're hiring 5 SDRs. They almost certainly have a pipeline problem. That's your hook. So you're scaling your sales team. That usually means specific challenge. Funding events. A series or a B or C means newly allocated budget and growth pressure simultaneously. They've just made a very public commitment to their investors. Show up with a credible point of view on how you can help them deliver on it. Congrats on the Series B. Growth at that stage usually surfaces specific challenge. Worth a conversation about how we've helped companies. Hopefully you're starting to understand how this can work. Technology changes. A company that's just adopted a complementary or competing tool is actively evaluating their stack. They're in buying mode. Get in front of them while that door is open. And another example could be content and earnings signal. If their CEO was on a podcast last week, they published a LinkedIn post about a challenge they're wrestling with, Their 10K references a specific operational priority. That is your opening. Read it, form a genuine point of view, then reach out and show them the linkage between what they're trying to achieve and what you can actually help with. That last one is how you book executive meetings, not with a clever template, but with a demonstration that you've done the work and understand their world. Now, we run 2 campaign types, and you need both. Sniper campaigns are built on trigger signals, smaller lists, maybe 200 targeted accounts, messaging anchored to a real event in their business. These are high converting campaigns that we always run for partners. On a recent health tech campaign, Sniper campaigns hit 20% reply rates and over 61% positive reply rates, generating 97 qualified conversations and 7 new clients in 60 days. Evergreen campaigns target universal pain points regardless of timing. Bigger lists, slightly lower conversions, but they run continuously and keep baseline volume consistent. You want to be running both in parallel. Sniper campaigns drive spikes and evergreen campaigns keep the pipeline moving. There's one principle that underpins both. You want to segment your lists, not your emails. A head of clinical operation and a chief data officer at the same company have very different problems, different language, and different reasons to care about what you do. Different personas get different messaging, not just a swapped first name. Treating them the same loses both of them. When you get the targeting right, when you know the trigger and you understand the person, the copy becomes much easier. The signal does half the work. The hook practically writes itself. Here's how to build the full email. The subject line. Its only job is to get the email opened, nothing else. 3 to 5 words, all lowercase, written like an internal note. Short, specific, lowercase subject lines are perceived as more authentic. They don't pattern match to sales emails in the prospect's brain. And that matters when you're competing with 50, 100, 150 other cold emails in their inbox that day or week. For trigger campaigns, you could mirror the event. So you could say Series B, it's 2 words. For evergreen, you can maybe call out the pain, multi-site data, or Q4 pipeline gap. 5 words is the absolute ceiling in my opinion. Now the opening hook, the first sentence determines whether they read the second. The rule is the first sentence is entirely about them, not you, not your company, not your credentials. Just answer one question. Why are you emailing this specific person today? So here's a trigger example. Barry, so you just closed your Series B. Congrats on the $45 million raise. No pitch, no transition, just a warm, specific acknowledgement that you've done your homework. An evergreen version could be Barry. Most clinical ops teams I work with say data reconciliation eats 40% of their time during interim analysis prep. That, again, is not about you. It's about Barry's world. Value proposition, using what I call the reality gap. 3 things in as few words as possible. Current reality, the specific pain they're in, something they can feel. Most VPs of sales I work with say their onboarding process adds 6 weeks before adding a new rep closes their first deal. The future reality, where they want to be, paint the picture without explaining how to get there. What if your reps were fully ramped and closing in week 3? The reality bridge, hint at how you make the transition happen, but don't explain the mechanism. We've helped 3 companies in your space do exactly that, cutting ramp time from 6 weeks to just 18 days. That last part is critical. Do not close the loop. The moment you explain everything in the email, you give them enough to form a vague opinion about you without talking to you. Keep the loop open. That unresolved curiosity is what makes them reply. On social proof, please don't brag. Lower their guard. 3 ways that can happen. Number 1, you want to name drop. After we worked with company names in their space, their qualified pipeline doubled in 90 days. Specific metric, we helped a biotech cut their DSMB prep from 18 days to 5 days. Specific numbers are believable. Round numbers feel like marketing. Match the case study to their exact situation, the industry, company size, specific pain. The closer the match, the more credible it lands. Call to action. Never ask for a 30-minute demo in the first email. You haven't earned that yet. The goal of email 1 is just to get a reply. The meeting comes next. Use tentative language, worth, might, could, makes sense. Worth a quick conversation about whether this applies to your team. In terms of the structure, you want to be looking at about 80 to 120 words. Plain text only, no links, no images, no HTML, no calendar links, no signatures, no photos. Every one of those elements signals bulk marketing to spam filters. Signature is first name, last name, title, company, nothing else. Make the title senior. Sender identity affects both inbox placement and open and reply rates. And here are 3 psychological principles that separate emails that get replies from emails that get deleted. And these aren't in any template guide. Reciprocity. Lead with a genuine observation, a relevant insight, something that gives value before you ask for anything. Leading value first increases reply rates 3 to 5 times compared to leading with a pitch. The Zeigarnik effect. The human brain is uncomfortable with unresolved loops. When you hint at a solution without explaining it, I'll show you exactly how we did it, they need to reply to close that loop. This is the mechanism behind the reality gap method. Pattern interrupt. Senior buyers receive over 150 cold emails a week. Their brain recognizes the sales email pattern in the first 3 words and deletes it before processing it. Short copy, an unexpected opener, or disarmingly direct language breaks that pattern before the brain can categorize and dismiss it. Understand why these work, and you stop following rules blindly. You start making decisions. 42% of positive replies come from follow-ups, not from the initial email, and 44 to 48% of reps quit after the first attempt. Do the maths on that. If you're only following up once, you're walking away from nearly half the meetings you could be booking every week. But here's the thing, most follow-ups don't work because they add nothing. Just bumping this up. Wanted to check if you saw my last email. That's noise, and noise teaches prospects to tune you out. Every follow-up has to earn its place by adding something new. So here is an example. So let's take email 1, day 1. Trigger-based, hook, direct, CTA. This next email, which is probably between day 3, 4, it's not a repeat, it's a different framing or a new relevant data point. 1 or 2 sentences float back to the top of their inbox without repitching. Day 5, 6, you may do something on LinkedIn. Again, not a pitch, a connection request with a human note or a comment on something they've posted. You start appearing in multiple places. You stop feeling like a stranger. Now, day 7 or 8, email 3, a 2-step CTA, offer something specific, a case study, a relevant resource, then ask 1 qualifying question. Are you currently more focused on fixing X or scaling Y? That question re-engages them and tells you exactly what to say next. Day 10 to 12, you may want to give them a phone call. By now, your name is familiar across email and LinkedIn. Reference the prior touches, keep it conversational, don't overly script it. And day 14, the final email, the breakup email. And don't underestimate this one. Before I reach out to your competitors, I wanted to give you one last chance to see if this was relevant. Seems like the timing might not be right. Should I check back next quarter or close this out? An email like this has gotten us 30 to 40% reply rate. It creates urgency without pressure, and it forces a real answer, either re-engagement or closure. Both are useful. One fills your pipeline, the other frees your focus. Now, from a timing perspective, we've seen that 8 to 9 a.m. or 4 to 5:30 p.m. in your prospect's local time zone lifts connection rates by about 35%. Late afternoon catches decision makers between meetings, briefly available and more open to short conversation. On the mixed channel front, email, LinkedIn, and phone combined outperform single channel outreach by up to 287%. Not because any one channel is magic, but because showing up in multiple places builds that familiarity that transforms a cold stranger into someone a prospect is willing to talk to. This is where most of the pipeline value gets quietly destroyed. So of 100 cold emails sent, let's say 40 open, 3 reply, and maybe 1 books a meeting. That gap between reply and meeting is not a copy problem, it's a reply handling problem, and it's almost entirely fixable. It starts here. When someone replies to your cold email, a window opens. That prospect is at their desk, thinking about the problem you raised, open to a conversation. That window closes fast. Reply within 5 minutes, and you are 100 times more likely to convert that lead than if you respond 24 hours later. A 2-hour delay doesn't just slow things down, it resets the entire dynamic. Think about it. Their attention has moved back to the next fire. You've lost the moment. So before you scale any outbound, especially cold email campaign, answer this one question. Do you have the infrastructure to respond to positive replies within the first 5 minutes? If not, fix that first. When a reply lands, triage it immediately. Not every reply is the same. There are 3 buckets. High intent. Something like, can we schedule a call? Send me pricing. Don't send more information. Don't pitch again. Propose 2 specific times right now. Curious but cautious. How does this work? Can you tell me more? Most people send a PDF here. The prospect reads it, forms a vague opinion, and goes silent forever. Instead, 1 short, relevant insight, a metric, a result, 1 sentence that answers what they're asking about, then 1 qualifying question. Are you currently more focused on fixing X or scaling Y? That question re-engages them and tells you exactly what angle to take it into the meeting. Not right now. Budget freeze, wrong timing, incumbent vendor. It's not a dead lead. Could be future pipeline. Send 1 piece of genuine value, set a follow-up task mid-next quarter in your CRM, and let it go cleanly. Now, the meeting ask. And this is where I say even experienced people lose deals they should win. Most people send a Calendly link in the first response. It feels efficient. But to the prospect, it's homework. Leave the inbox, open a tab, cross-reference their calendar, and commit to a meeting with someone they've exchanged 40 words with. That's too much friction for a stranger. Here's a 3-step meeting ask. Step 1, propose 2 specific times. Not when you're free. That's an open invitation for a non-committal answer. Does Tuesday at 2 p.m. work or Thursday at 10 a.m. work? Binary choice, simple decision. Step 2, wait for the micro commitment. When they reply Tuesday works, they've crossed a psychological threshold. They're committed now, not just curious. And that moment is really important. And at step 3, you send the calendar link. Now it's not homework, it's admin for something they've already agreed to. The friction is gone because the decision is already made. I also recommend that you set up automations so that an hour before, 24 hours before, 48 hours before they're aware of the meeting, you may want to send them some pre-call information as well about the business. One more thing on framing. Don't call it a demo, a pitch, or a discovery call. If you can frame it as a give, it might be an audit, a teardown, a walkthrough, give them something of value. I'll walk you through the exact process 3 companies in your space used to cut their sales cycle from 6 weeks to 3. They're not agreeing to hear a sales pitch, they're agreeing to receive something useful. That framing converts at roughly double the rate of, let me show you the platform. And here's the last scenario, and it's more common than you'd think. A prospect replies positively, you propose times, they go quiet. This is what I like to call the yes trap. It doesn't mean they've lost interest, it just means they've got pulled back into their day. One follow-up email won't recapture that attention. So here's a 4-touch sequence to get out of the yes trap. So touch 1, you want to have an immediate reply with the 2-time options, no links. Touch 2, 24 to 48 hours, 1 line, float the message back to the top of their inbox, nothing new, just a human nudge. Day 3, 4, a short value injection, maybe a case study result, an industry stat that reminds them why they were interested, again, without pressure. And day 7 to day 10, you would want to do something like the breakup email. Timing doesn't seem right. Should I check back next quarter or close this out? Forces a real answer, re-engagement or closure, either moves you forward. One caveat before I wrap this up. I've just walked you through the targeting, the copy, the follow-up, the reply handling. None of it works if your emails aren't landing in the primary inbox in the first place. Getting that right is a topic on its own. It's called deliverability, and I've covered it in full in a separate video. Domains, mailbox, warm-up, authentication, verification, all of it. If you haven't set that foundation up correctly, watch that one first. 4 parts, 1 system. Build your list using maths. Waterfall Enrichment, ICP discipline, a daily volume determined by your market, not your gut. Target based on signals. The right message at the right moment is worth 10 times the same message at the wrong time. Write emails that open curiosity loops. Lead with their world. Hint at the result. Earn the reply before you earn the meeting. Follow up with value, not noise. And when the reply comes, respond within 5 minutes. Triage accurately. Give them 2 times to choose from and frame the meeting as something they receive, not something you sell. Get those 4 things working together and cold outreach stops being a grind and starts being a predictable pipeline machine. If you want to see what this looks like running at scale for your business, the link to book a call with me is in the description below. If this was useful, please subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from. I'll see you in the next video.